Attention movie people. I have seen the various injustice depicted by this very channel. It seems the content creator has taken quite a bit of time to upload new content. Well, I can assure you this. His time will come, and he will pay for keeping us waiting. But for now, like and subscribe, and here's a riddle. Actually, I don't have any riddles today, so that's all I can say. He is darkness, he is the night, he is emo. That's right, movie people. Welcome to episode of the CineGuy. I'm your host, Stephen Angoul. Let's talk film. In fact, we're going to take a look at a new take on our favorite DC character. That's right, we return to the DC movies, which apparently is a different universe, so I can't really say much. I don't know what's going on with DCEU. But anyway, it is the Batman. It stars Robert Pattinson, Vampire Boy, as a titular character as he takes on corruption, crime, and an existential crisis. Yes, this new Bruce Wayne is embarking on his second year as the Caped Crusader. And, man, he is very, emo. He's got bangs, he pushes people away, and I'm pretty sure Robert Pattinson has not smiled at least even once throughout the entire movie. Well, there was that one time, but that was just to make fun of Alfred, so doesn't really count. So yeah, there's an entirely different representation of Bruce Wayne, although based on his personality in this movie, if one can assume that Bruce Wayne is the persona, while Batman is the true identity. In the past films, he's, much more social. He's blending in with the crowd, interacting with guests, becoming a playboy. Here, he doesn't really do much of that stuff. And which doesn't make any sense because while he is still a young Batman, he's had at least 30 years to establish his billionaire persona. Plenty of time to mingle. I mean, the only public event he does, being Bruce Wayne, was a public funeral. And even he kept pushing people away. He didn't even say hi to that cop that recognized him. It's like, this is just a guy who's like the most famous person in the city, but like, he doesn't care. But no, this movie is not called The Bruce Wayne or The Billionaire, it's called The Batman, so that's what Matt Reeves gives us. He focuses on a much more realistic version of Gotham City by mixing in like realism with the gothic atmosphere from the comic book. It's like the Nolan and Burton version all in one. Here, Batman it's a darker story, but Batman is more of an actual detective. He is solving a mystery here. The mayor gets murdered by the Riddler, and the next thing you know, it uncovers a whole string of corruption and conspiracies, all revolving around a drug bust. And next thing you know, it centers around the Waynes. Why? Because it's Gotham. Everybody's corrupt. The mayor has connection with the mob, so does the DA. And next thing you know, it's like, okay, is there anybody in power we can trust who isn't Jim Gordon? As it turns out, the whole mastermind was Carmine Falcone, the top crime boss, also straight from the comic. So basically the movie is a long rendition of The Long Halloween, and we welcome it. Each character actually personifies, each character from that book, and it's also one of the most definitive Batman stories because it tackles the Caped Crusader against, actual people, the actual villains that could be real, as in like crime bosses and mobsters. And where does the Riddler, who sports this mask I'm wearing right now, fit into all this? Well, besides him being like the Zodiac killer with a duct tape fetish, he actually has connections to the Waynes, as in he too was an orphan, and he's just upset that orphans don't get attention. Yes, it's two worlds colliding because when Bruce Wayne's parents got murdered, he was the most famous person alive. It's like, oh no, they just killed off the people with money, while Riddler was an actual orphan in an orphanage that was promised a lot of money by the Waynes, but nothing came, and next thing you know, the orphans suffered for it. So it was kind of like people were just carrying about the wrong kind of children in this case. Why? Because one had money. Oh yeah, it's vengeance alright, for the poor. You hear that, emo rich boy? Seriously, you inherited all those billions you couldn't donate a can of food to poor children? Alright, so after all that, the Riddler is now in Arkham and movie's over, right? No! We still got apparently 20 minutes left, so why not incorporate No Man's Land? Yes, that's right. The Riddler floods Gotham, which is apparently built below sea level. But hey, I guess it pins Batman versus nature because at that moment, that's where he has to become more than just a vigilante. Right? That scene in the arena where he cuts off an electric wire to prevent electrocution, and he falls into the water, and then he rises again. That was kind of like his baptism right there. He was no longer a scary superhero. No, he's a symbol of hope now. Him leading the survivors out of the damage with a flare, that was like they accepted Batman as their hero, as their leader, and he's gonna keep on being their protector for as long as he can. So, is this the ultimate Batman movie? Well, I'd say it's a really, really decent one. Batman here, he's still young, he's growing and he's learning, and you know what? I like the fact that we became part of that process of him, learning to become a real hero. And it's nice to see the other side characters become much more involved. Like Gordon, he's more than just a side piece for the law. He's actually teaming up with Batman. These two are like, on the case together. They became a better dynamic duo than Robin. And Catwoman, she's like the other side of the coin. She knows how wretched the city is and wanted an escape with her friend, but that all goes downhill when her friend becomes involved with the whole corruption thing, and next thing you know, she's involved too because she has connections to the mob. And of course, Falcone being her father is like the only way she has a way to escape is by taking out the ones with power. Now, Penguin was a fun sight. Although he served more as a comic relief character, but it was fun to see Colin Farrell as like a Jersey type gangster, especially with all that makeup. Because my goodness, if he had the top hat and the umbrella, that would have been amazing. And Riddler was just a darker rendition of the character, although I did like his more sadistic and kind of like psychotic persona that he gave him. Especially that scene with the bomb and the three riddles, like that's just peak Riddler right there. And it kind of it made him scary. And also the fact that this dude has connection with the like right wing trolls who's like, hey, the city's corrupt, join me and we can make Gotham great again and all that BS. I mean, he got his minions from like a 4chan type website. It's about time we got Batman villains that resemble the January 6th insurrectionists. And Alfred, Bruce Wayne's right-hand man and mentor, barely in the movie. I mean, Andy Serkis could have been a truly essential character as, the very wise butler, but no. It's kind of like he was just there. I guess it could serve like an example of like him trying to be Bruce Wayne's final like seed of sanity, but then they just had him in a whole explosion accident. So it's kind of like, okay, Alfred, I guess you don't fit in this story, but you'll fit in the next one. Overall, it is a beautiful retelling of the Batman lore. I appreciate Pattinson as the new Dark Knight, and I look forward to seeing his journey as he grows and shows us what else he's got. Also, the fact that Druig from Eternals is now going to be Joker, apparently. Seriously, like, I'm still waiting for other villains to show. Where's Clayface? Show me a Clayface movie. My final rating is going to be 9.4 greeting cards out of 10 squirrel flying suits. Don't judge him, alright? It's still year 2. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this review. If you like it, if you did, subscribe and join the crew. I'll see you next time for an awesome review. Be sure to follow the Instagram at CineGuy Steven for more fun reviews. That is at CineGuy Steven. I'll see you there. This is Steven Angulo signing off. Ave